And what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Joe Fontaine of VIP SoundLab, and I just wanted to address a quick question that I got from one of my VIP members who actually performs live. He wanted to know how to trigger the scenes from Maschine as well as record his performances, because at times you might, have a certain vibe going, and you might be like, wow, I was just like going off up in the joint, and I wish I could have recorded that joint because it was like real live. Well, I'm gonna show you how you can do that, and I'm gonna show you some tricks as far as tracking out your audio. So let's go ahead and take a look at the scenes right here. You can trigger your scenes by your machine controller. You can press the scene button, and by selecting your pads, you can see right there I'm going through the scenes. Now if you hold down the first pad and go to the second pad, you see the looper icon starts to move forward. So I'm doing that exclusively just with the hardware controller. You don't have to use the mouse. For example, let's say if I held down the first pad, then press the 16th pad, the looper goes all the way to the end and it goes back. Now Native Instruments is brilliant because they set this up in a way that your unused scenes, they will not light up. Like if I press this pad right here that says scene 7, there's nothing on it. The pad's lit up, but if I go to another scene, that pad disappears. So if you're performing live, you will not get confused. So Native Instruments, hats off to them. They thought brilliantly on that. I mean, they really thought this through for live performances. Now, if you notice right here, I'm on my trackpad, so if my mouse is moving a little slow, I'm sorry, because all my USBs are currently, I'm in the studio right now and I'm working on a project, so my MIDI controls are hooked up. But anyway, right here, you see right here S1/1, which basically means scene 1, pattern 1. Your scenes correspond down here with your patterns. Now, if you notice, when I hit scene 2, how I went to pattern 2 down here, and I went to scene 1, you notice how the pattern is moving? But when I jump over there to scene 3, being that it's saying pattern 4, when I go to this third button, you see it jumps over here to pattern 4, and it skips scene 3 because scene 3 is nowhere in here. You see it says pattern 4. These are patterns, these little bars here. And I've covered this in past tutorial videos. So if you're looking on your hardware controller, when you press the scene button and you lock it in, you'll notice right up under the all button, it's going to say S1/1. That simply means scene 1/ your pattern. So whenever you see that little slash mark like this right here, this is basically what you're going to see on your machine controller, and that's all it means. There's different ways you can trigger your scenes. For example, I don't want to run too long in the video, but if I go to the scene MIDI settings, let's go ahead and enable this. You have the MIDI note feature here, which you can trigger scenes through your channels, and you can start with your root notes here if you're going to be recording inside your DAW, because some people are comfortable inside certain DAWs. And you also have MIDI program changes here. Maschine gives you 16 of them. So let's say, for example, I'm in Ableton Live right here. Let's say if I had a MIDI track set up, and right click, let's put a little MIDI clip in here and bring this up. You see right here, Ableton Live has your programs. Ableton Live has 128 different programs that you can set up, but that is another tutorial video, and I'm not going to really go too in depth with that because that will get more or less complex, because you can set up they call them clips. Like if you set up your MIDI notes, you can record a Maschine. Here's your programs, okay, and you can record MIDI notes in there. But again, that's another tutorial. I'm not going to really get into that right now. Let's delete this off right quick. All right, let's go back to Maschine. Okay, just give me a second here, guys. This trackpad is aggravating. Getting to move it. All right, get this back. And you see right here, here's how you sync it. So if I'm on scene, and let's say on your hardware controller, the left and right or the rewind and fast forward buttons are lit up. See, I can move it like this. That's without me even touching the pads. You'll notice your pads will be lighting up and they'll be scrolling around. They'll be like moving around. So this works a lot quicker. If you really, well, I'm not going to say quicker, but it's your preference, whether it's the pad or this little guy right here. And again, remember with your pads, you can set your loop. So let's say, for example, if I have this sync mode set to sync, what happens is it's going to play this entire pattern before starting your next pattern. Like if it's playing and then I go like this scene right here is going to play out, and then it's going to get ready, or this scene right here is going to be waiting to be triggered next. Like, let me show you. I have to start Ableton Live right quick. I'll show you what I mean. See how it's waiting? It's waiting right now. Then it's going to come in. Then if I go back, you see what I mean? So it was waiting to be triggered. So this scene was playing currently, and this scene right here was actually waiting to be triggered, because it's going in a scene fashion, I guess you can call it. You know, it's waiting to be triggered. It's playing in order, in a sequential order, you know, for a lack of a better term, whatever you want to call it. It's sequencing by scenes. In other words, it's waiting and playing sequential in sequential order, but not necessarily saying it will play like that, because if this scene is playing and I jump, let's say, way over here to scene 3 or 4, that's going to play next. So it's whatever you select after a scene is currently playing, because I could be on scene 5, for example, and then jump to scene 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at that just to give a good example. Now it's going to go to scene 1. Now we're on scene 1, pattern 1. You see what I mean? All right, so other things you can do, which can get kind of messy if you're not careful. Let's say if we're under sync, what I like to do sometimes, I'll put it on 1/8, like so. What happens is now you can actually, when your scene is playing, it's going to, if I switch the scene while the scene is currently playing, it's going to continue off wherever it was in this particular scene. It's going to continue on playing without starting from the first bar. If it's playing here, and let's say I'm on the 3rd bar, and then I jump here, it's going to start exactly on the 3rd bar where it left off here. So you can get kind of a mixing effect, almost like, think about it as if you're on a turntable and you had this turntable playing, and then you switched over to this turntable over here, whereas it might be a different part in the song. So for example, to make you understand better, let's go ahead and do that. I'll play the first scene with the first pattern, which basically is no drums, and then we'll jump over here where something might be going on a little more interesting. So let's take a look at that. Just to keep the vibe right, I'm gonna let it loop one time though. Then maybe on a 3rd bar we'll jump over. Check it out. See how it just kept going? Now say if I jump over to scene 5 real quick. I was a little off, but you get the idea. Maybe we might want to back it up a little bit. Now check it out. I jump over to scene 1. It just broke it down. You feel me? It just broke it down right there. Then maybe I might say let's get bring it in real quick. More or less to the break. You might want to say, let's break that joint down. Live performing. So that's how that works. And, you know, then it has other settings over here where if you want to completely turn it off, now that gets a little more messy. Now, it's basically preference. I really don't like using this off feature here because it I'll show you what I mean. It kind of It jumps around a little too much. I'll show you what I mean. Break it down. Well, I guess it ain't too bad. It's almost about the same, but I don't know. I like the 1/8 one right here. All right, put that back on scene. Again, scene makes it plays in order. It plays out the whole entire pattern. Then it goes to the next scene. Now, let me take this MIDI track off because I wanted to show you. Say if I go here, what is it on Ableton Live? Ableton Live users, you know what is a Control T. Let's just make 3 audio tracks right quick. Let's see. We'll set this for Maschine. Again, bear with me with my slow moving fingers on this trackpad. I got big hands, man. All right, Maschine. All right. Now, you don't leave it on post mixer. We're going to send some outs. For the sake of the video, we don't want to run too long. I'll put this one out 2, out 3, and out 4. And I'm going to arm these tracks. I don't have to arm the first instance of Maschine. Okay, now we're going to go to Sound and MIDI batch setup. Make sure that this is going to be going to MIDI channels. Click apply. Make sure we're on scene 1. Which reminds me, you also can, you know, if you're going to record clips in there, you can do that also. I'll show you that in another video. But now we're going to go on the sound level right quick, and we're going to go to, we'll use this hi-hat sound, and we'll go to the out tab. We'll set this to out 2. Why? Because out 1 is currently in use by Maschine. Clap, we'll put this one out 3. So we got 2, 3, and these little shakers here, we'll set these to out 4. All right, so now we have the output set up. So now you pretty much can sit back and relax, whether you record. Okay, let's say if I just want to record it. Again, I set it for scene 1. I have a 2-bar count in, so we got to wait for that. Let's just wait for that to go. Then it's going to start recording the audio, but it's going to be tracked out. Up here, it probably will have like a little blank file, but don't worry about that. And let me open these up a little bit more so you can see it, see what it's doing. I'm gonna turn this loop icon off so we can keep seeing the audio. All right, so now we're recording live. So now if I jump over here to Maschine, and remember, we're gonna be triggering our patterns. So let's jump on over to, now notice over here how the waveform is gonna change up. Now we're recording live. We're on scene 4, pattern 4. So if I hold this down, I can bring the loop like so. Jump on 6, hold down pad 1. Now we're completely looped. So now what's going to happen is when scene 6 comes up, pattern 4, once that one's over, we'll wait for it. It's going to jump back to scene 1. And we'll just wait for that. I'll stop it after the intro. All right, now we went back to scene 1, pattern 1. Boom. Easy. All right, so I'll stop it right there. I'll unarm these tracks. Let's see, where's my control? Just for small details, if you wanted to know how to arm multiple tracks, you just hold down the control key. When you highlight one, you go to another one, and make sure you hold down the control key, then it'll highlight the other one like that. So no big deal. All right, now the audio is right here, stemmed out. Now it's going to play lower because the plugins that I have on Maschine are not able to live. These are just blank, completely blank tracks here. You can see right here is where you can warp the audio if you want to transpose it. Let me just move this down a little bit here, because the warp icon Ableton Live, if you're bouncing this to disk, well, technically this is like bouncing it to disk, but if you're bouncing it to your desktop, you might not want to have that warp icon on in certain situations, unless you're wanting to do like time stretching with live and stuff like that. But you know, you have the detune icon here. You have full control over your audio, whatever you want to do to it. You know, don't forget Ableton Live has a high quality mode where if you're selecting your tracks, you press this high Q. That just basically means a high quality mode. You know, you can do that, tweak your audio. Don't forget you can freeze your audio. You can add plugins and stuff like that. You know, if you wanted to boost the signal a little bit, because like this, I'm going to show you. Let me go to Maschine. This is an important part too. I forgot to mention, so you don't get confused and be like, yo, why is there like so many things going on? If you're going to play your audio that you have inside your DAW, make sure you go to a blank scene here in Maschine. That blank scene is going to keep this extra audio from being played, which is going to drive you nuts. You'll be like, you'll think that your audios didn't record right, and you'll mess around and erase something that was perfect in the first place. So I'll play this. Let me rewind it. Again, this is just, remember, we only did 3 tracks, so it's just these hi-hats, that shaker, and I think a clap. So that's why we're just hearing that. So I'm not really sure how it was in Maschine in the mix, but again, for the sake of the video, we just did it like that. But it's all tracked out. Like if I wanted to solo just this, there's just the hi-hats. The solo that's just the clap. And that other sound. So, you know, I should have did some chords or something so that we could have heard it more switching up with the scenes. But trust me, the way the scenes were triggered is that's what's being recorded in here. And then, you know, if you want to come in here, you know, right click and then, you know, name your clip or whatever the case may be. You know, you name it whatever, like clap, maybe some clap or whatever. So you could be more neat, more organized, whatever you want to do. You can press Control. Oops, let's bring that back. I erased it by mistake. We can press Control, or rather right click, copy. And if you want to make clips, you can come over here and paste it in here and trigger your clips like this. Okay, so that's another way. You know, some people, they do it like that. They line up their little sequences and stuff like that. So again, without running too long, that's just pretty much basically how you can use Maschine to get your audio stemmed out and tracked out, as well as play live inside of Maschine. And you know, then from there, if you wanted to solo certain sounds and then bounce these sounds to disk, you know how it goes in Ableton Live. You would just go under here to File, and you would go export audio or video. Then you get the options of how you want to export the audio, whether it's a WAV file, an AIFF file. You also can normalize it. You can create analysis files, which I really don't mess with. Plus, you have the other options here if you want to dumb down the quality or tune it up a certain way. And of course, you have your bit depth here. If you want to give it a higher resolution for headroom, you can put a 32-bit on it. And that's pretty much how that works. Or you can just do your whole entire mix that you did live in one big shot and then pass it on with your friends. They were like, yo, I heard you playing live at the club. Yo, that was dope. Yo, how can I get a copy of what you did? And then you have it. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it on this one. I don't want to run too long, but that's how you use Maschine to trigger your scenes live of a performance that you did. You might have had a track that you created and you wanted to share it with your friends, and that's pretty much how you get your scenes. Again, remember, your scenes play in order, and they kind of run sequentially with your patterns. Remember, S1 means scene 1 on your hardware controller. You will see that the slash, this means 1, or pattern 1, scene 2, pattern 2. This means scene 3, pattern 4, and so on and so on. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next one. Remember to come by my website. My website is the VIP Sound Lab. I have the link for the website in the description of the video. I only charge $9.99. It's a one-time fee. It locks you in for a lifetime membership of free controller editor templates, drum kits, motif sounds, things of that nature. I also have tons of drum kits that for my members, I give them at a special discounted rate. So I will see you guys on the website, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.